Well, in case you've been living under a rock over the past several months, you might have heard that the Oakland A's are Vegas bound, more than likely at the most estimated likely time frame of 2028. And this stadium you could see right here, um, which is kind of like the second to the right, if you will. Um, first from the left, one the second to the right. Basically, this two picture deal, that is the rendering of what the proposed stadium is going to look like when it gets built in Las Vegas. Now, you know what they did to make this happen is they have closed down and they will be demolishing the Tropicana in Las Vegas, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people are disappointed in, but they can probably understand. Hey, if it gets us an MLB team, that's good too. Um, But the question obviously is what happens with the A's, the Athletics, in between then. And apparently, the lease is up at the end of this year with the Coliseum, the Oracle Coliseum, if you will. And they had to either try to extend the lease or get the lease extended with the city of Oakland, or they'd have to find temporary housing, if you know what I mean. And unfortunately, Oakland refused the offer, even though they go out and say, "Oh, they gave us a great offer and all that," but all this, they're just a bunch of hoo-ha in the eyes of a lot of folks. And basically, a deal could not be reached to extend the lease for another 3 to 4 years. And because of that, the A's will be playing the last season, this season, at the Coliseum. But where does that lead them from there? Hold on for a second. Got a little scratch in the ear there. Got a little scratch in the ear. Let me just adjust the mic there. Let me just adjust the mic. Okay. But anyway, the question is, where does it lead the A's from here? It's like, where do the A's go from here after 2024? Well, there was a lot of discussions. There was discussions of them probably playing in the stadium, the AAA stadium of their AAA affiliate in Vegas. There was talk about that. But then, of course, another talk was Stutter Park Field in West Sacramento, which is home of the Sacramento River Cats. There was talk about them going there, relocating there for a few seasons before going to Vegas. Well, uh, people in Sacramento who were hoping for this, but understood, that this shouldn't have to be. But they understood, hey, if it keeps Oakland and California, not keeps Oakland, but keeps the A's in California a little longer, then so be it. Those people that, like I said, understood, what Oakland was going through, because they had been there before at one point, before somebody came in and bought the Sacramento Kings, because had somebody not come in and bought the Kings, because I think it was a couple of people that had gotten some groups together or something, and to keep them in Sacramento and build what is now known as the Golden One Center. Um, had they not done that, the Kings of the NBA, the Sacramento Kings of the NBA, would have been Seattle bound, and they would have been rechristened the new Seattle Supersonics. Now, I do believe Seattle is going to get a team again, NBA wise, and it will be the Supersonics. I think that's very obvious. There's no hiding it. But they came that close, but they were able to, get people together to buy the team and get the Golden One Center created. However, when it comes to the situation with the A's, um, basically a lot of crazy stuff happened. I mean, they were going to get a stadium built. It looked like they were going to get a stadium built uh, kind of near the airport area over there. And just when it looked like they were going to get ready to finalize it and break ground, things fell through, and it just became a whole mess, if you will. And a lot of people are blaming, and rightfully so, I guess, blaming the ownership, the management ownership team of the A's. The current ownership management team of the A's, saying that these people don't really care about the fans. They don't care about doing what's right for the fans, doing what's right for the team. They only care about making money. Da 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 da. So yeah, a lot of fans, either they are A's fans or just baseball fans, Major League Baseball fans in general. They are basically putting a lot of the blame of this move from Oakland to Vegas at the feet of the current owners of the Oakland A's. Kind of citing that they don't care about, the fans. They just care about money. Now, some would say that Oakland, the city of Oakland, also has fault in this because they didn't do what they could to help renovate the stadium, the Coliseum that they're currently at, or even, years prior can, come up with an idea to try to keep the A's in Oakland. So, yeah, even the city of Oakland takes a lot of, blame in this too. But, outside of that, um, a lot of fans are putting the blame at the feet of the owners that currently own the A's. Because last year, and I saw it for myself in person at Oracle Park, when the Giants were playing the A's in a regular season interleague game. It was around my birthday and all that. Um, I saw people because they were doing this even the day prior, the week prior at the Coliseum. They would choose an inning, and all of a sudden they'd be chanting "Sell their team, sell their team." Because they didn't want the A's to leave. They didn't want the A's to leave the Bay Area. But unfortunately, all fell on deaf ears. And the silver lining is they're not totally out of California. They're not totally out of northern central California yet. They are now going to have another few years here, and that's going to be at Stutter Park Field in Sacramento. Now, what's interesting about the contract on that, according to reports, is there's an optional fourth year should the stadium, like I said, that you see here, as you can see here, third to the right, if you will, second to the fourth to the left, or third to the left, if you will. The one that's right under the first one, that's right under the um, Oakland to Sacktown banner, right there. Basically, the one that's on the left, going to the left, if you will. Basically, like I said, the contract has a 3 year. It's for 3 years with a fourth-year option. Should this stadium that's going to be built on the side of where Tropicana is at right now isn't built in time, isn't ready in time, for the A's to call home. So yeah, the A's basically are going to be playing starting next year at Stutter Park, um, for the 2025, 2026, 2027, and possibly 2028 season. Now they might only have to do 2 years if the stadium gets built in time for the 2027 season, but we'll see. Heck, they might only have to play 2.5 seasons, and then halfway through, like after the All Star break, they end up playing the rest of the games in the new Vegas stadium. That might be something that happens too. But right now, the deal currently is for 3 seasons with a fourth season, depending on the length of time it takes for the stadium to be built. If there's any delay or anything, you know what I'm saying. But even though this is disappointing, what's interesting about this, depending on what reports you hear, um, either the Oakland A's themselves, the management team of the A's themselves, or the city of Sacramento, depending again on who you believe, filed a trademark for the name Sacramento A's Sacramento Athletics. Now, according to reports, the A's management team just wants to go by the Athletics. Just by by the name of the A's, the Athletics, and that's it. Nothing more. That's what they want to go by. When they go into Sacramento, they don't want to be the Sacramento A's or the Sacramento Athletics and all that. They just want to be the Athletics. They want to be the A's. But now you have this report going out there that somebody, either it was them or it was the city of Sacramento, and the people that own the Sacramento Kings, the ones that kept them here, and had the Golden One Center created. filing that trademark because basically part of this deal, apparently, you know, and history is on their side when it comes to it, is to basically attract a possible MLB expansion team. Kind of show Major League Baseball, hey, look, Sacramento is a great place for baseball to take place in, to take part in. You know, not just minor league wise, not just AAA wise, but major wise. So apparently that's part of this plan. And again, depending on who you believe, on who filed the trademark, I'm more likely to believe that the people that own the Kings, and got this done along with the help of the Giants, San Francisco Giants, believe it or not, because the River Cats, the Sacramento River Cats, is our AAA affiliate. That use Stetter Park Field as their home during the season. Basically, I tend to believe that side of things more than the Oakland A's management side of things because, again, it does feel like this is, testing the waters. This is testing the waters of, hey, if we could show, Major League Baseball, the owners of MLB, that we could, that Sacramento would be a great place for an expansion team, you know, then, having this deal being put in place might be the best opportunity we have. And history is on their side. It is. Because some people pointed out that when the New Orleans Pelicans, or not Pelicans, but the New Orleans Hornets, excuse me, had to move temporarily due to Hurricane Katrina. Had to move. I think it was Hurricane Katrina. Had to move from the New Orleans arena to the venue in Oklahoma City, or one of the venues, Oklahoma City. That was done not only to give them a place to play during the season during the NBA season when the hurricane took place, but it was also done strategically to show the NBA, hey, Oklahoma City could be a great place for an NBA expansion team, and guess what? Guess what? They succeeded. They succeeded in proving their point, and now they have the Thunder. And a lot of other examples throughout other major sports has been very favorable to cities that don't have teams, in certain leagues or professions, if you know what I mean. So for this to happen, again, yes, it helps temporarily house the A's and keep them in California for at least another several years. But what it also is strategically is a method to kind of get the owners of MLB's attention and make them realize, hey, we can do a Major League Baseball team here if you give us a chance and everything. And here's why that would be, and here's why you should give us that chance. By letting the A's stay there and everything. So, do I think Sacramento could get an MLB team? Um, you know, during this time frame, do I think they could be rewarded one? I think yeah. Honestly, I believe so. I believe I believe they will. I believe because of what they're doing here, you know, giving the A's a temporary home, willing to expand Stetter Park Field itself. Because yeah, there is going to be a little bit of expansion during the off season to make it more suitable as an MLB park, a Major League Baseball park. I think honestly, because they're willing to go through that, yeah, I could see Sacramento being rewarded with a Major League Baseball team. I can. I can see that. You know, Now you might say, well, they have the River Cats. Well, yeah, but that's a AAA affiliate of the Giants. Now, could they make history and say, hey, we want to make the River Cats your expansion team, and thus they're no longer affiliated with the Giants, but now they're their own team. They're now an MLB team, if you will. Could that happen? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely that could happen. But we would have to see. It would not be the first time, that a Major League Baseball team played in the same city as a minor league baseball team, AAA team. I mean, you look around currently, there are a lot of examples of that as we speak. So I could I could definitely see Sacramento because of what they're going through to make this happen. I could see them getting a Major League Baseball team as a reward, as a thank you, before the 2028 season, when the A's go to Vegas, you know, um, I can see that. I can see that. So, I'm not saying it will happen, but history is on their side. Again, you go back to what I just mentioned with the New Orleans Hornets and how they had to find a temporary home after Katrina. Well, there's your example, as well as some other bright examples out there as well. Some maybe not as notable as that one, but there are some there. There are some there. Um, but yeah, I definitely feel Sacramento will get a Major League Baseball team. I do. I mean, again, they're doing all this. They're willing to expand Settle Park Field to make it more of a um, Major League Baseball like venue. Then I think, doing all that and showing the owners association of MLB that they're willing to take this risk, they're willing to go this far, then yeah, I definitely think that they're going to get rewarded. I really do. I think during the last season that the A's are there, you're going to probably hear the announcement. In fact, I believe, at the end of this season and going mostly throughout next season, you're going to start hearing a lot of strong rumblings and almost accurate reports, you know, coming around of hey, of Sacktown, Major League Sacramento, I should say, getting a Major League team. So I firmly believe that's going to happen. And also, what makes me believe that's going to happen is, like I said earlier, I tend to believe the Sacramento side of things about the trademark filing for Sacramento A, Sacramento Athletics. It's almost like that. It's almost like those people, again, same people who kept the Kings in Sacramento. It's almost like they feel that when the A's get located to Las Vegas, that it's only a matter of time before they change their names or their name gets changed. And that could happen. And maybe they look at the fact that, well, if we get a major league team and the A's when they officially move, have their name changed to something else, well, guess what? We can retain that. We can bring that name back, if you know what I mean. Um, you look at teams that everybody thought was extinguished. They were no more, right? Like the Cleveland Browns. Nobody ever thought they'd be back. Guess what? They came back. They kept the lineage and all that, as far as I know, or they were able to retain the lineage and everything, as far as I know. Even despite the fact that the original Cleveland Browns went to Baltimore and became the Ravens, they were able to bring that back. So I think what they're doing by filing this trademark is not just filing it for the next several seasons, after this one, but they're filing it for a reason. They're filing it, in my opinion, to keep the A's name relevant and alive just in case the current A's, change their name when they go to Vegas. And I think that's why they're doing it. And again, I tend to believe them more so than the A's management side of things when it comes to trademark filing. But what's also interesting, and I didn't even know about this because, of course, I was a kid, 10 years old, 9, 10 years old at the time. But there was actually plans back in the late 80s, early 90s to relocate the A's to Sacramento. And right here on the right, or going towards the right, you see, and you can see under the A's logo, and again, going to the right under the Oakland to Sacktown banner, you can see these renderings of what would have been known as Oracle Park. And this was going to be a multi-purpose stadium, both football and baseball, you know, and one can assume it was going to house not just the A's but also the Raiders, because the Raiders were also being tempted to move from LA at that time where they were, and not to Oakland but to Sacramento. So, that might have been, the purpose for making it a multi-purpose stadium. On the bottom here, like I said, going to the right with this render, you see what would have been the A's park, or what would have been where the A or how the A's played in that park, and then above it you would have seen you see in that render above it, you see what would have been basically the park, you know, rearranged or multi-purposed for the Raiders. And then here you see it again. Now, what's interesting about these pictures on on the right, I should say, under the A's banner, is these here, this image here, right under the logo of the A's, not only shows you what the render of what would have been, but shows you that there's proof out there, and this is, near the Stockton Kings NBA G League training facility. But it shows you proof that, yeah, they were actually they actually broke ground, and they were on the verge of building this until things fell through. And then the image down below shows you the same thing. It shows you that they broke ground and were starting to get things going, and then things fell through. Basically, the A's were able to stay in Oakland, and the Raiders pretty much made the deal that after I don't know how many more seasons they were going to go back to Oakland themselves from LA. But yeah, Sacramento has tried before to get the A's, and they've tried before to get the Raiders and other teams, get a major league team or and a major professional sports team there, whether it's MLB, NFL, NHL, if you will. Outside of the NBA team they have, they've been trying to expand more in the major league of sports. And again, the proof here is just the proof here is just evident that they've been trying this for over 30 years, over 35 for about 35 years they've been doing this. And now in the 35th year, and now 30 not 35th year, but now 35 years later, not only have they gotten what they need, not only have they gotten a deal made to where they can bring a major league team, temporarily to Sacramento starting next year and for the next few years, but what it also does is it lays the groundwork for them. And again, like I said earlier, history is on their side to attract, an MLB expansion team there, and most likely, you know, not only attract an MLB expansion team there, but maybe a team that carries on the Athletics name, if not legacy, if you will. Because again, I think the reason, like I mentioned earlier, the reason that I feel more favorable towards the reports that these people, this group that made this deal happen to keep, to bring the A's to Sacramento temporarily, the same ones that kept the Kings in Sacramento, I think they're ready for the inevitable. They are looking at the fact that as I mentioned earlier, if not if, but when, I should say, the Athletics go to Las Vegas, that there's a good chance the management team, the ownership team, will want to change their name to something different to match the new homestead, if you will. So I think them filing, and because I'm looking at them doing it more so than the Oakland management team, them doing that, I think they're preparing themselves not only for the potential, strong potential of getting a major league team, over into Sacramento after this temporary situation, but they're also preparing for the potential name change that the A's may go through, once they go to Las Vegas. And once that happens, they'll have that A's name should be on standby, to utilize for the MLB expansion team should and when they get one, and I believe they will after what they're doing here. But yeah, the A's are going to West Sacramento, and a lot, and if you're an A's fan, knowing that it's only 86 miles away from the Coliseum, that being Sutter Park, you should, even though it's bittersweet, even though it's bittersweet, even though it's not, what you wanted, it is kind of bittersweet that you're still having them close by to attend games at least for the next several seasons. And again, who knows? Like I said, history is on their side. Sacramento might just get an expansion team because of this as a reward, and I think they might be able to, utilize the Athletics name in the future, because I think, like I said, I think they filed trademark for it more so that I would believe the Oakland management team doing it, Oakland A's management team doing it, and I think they did that for a reason. I think that reason is because when this render of the new stadium that you see right here going towards the right is once this stadium is complete, there's a good chance that that Oakland A's management team might say, "Yeah, we're in Vegas now. We don't want to be the A's anymore. We're going to be somebody else." Guess what? Guess what? Guess what will happen? The people that helped bring the A's to Sacramento temporarily, not only will they be rewarded with an MLB expansion team, but they'll have that Sacramento A's, Sacramento Athletics name on standby to utilize as part of that, expansion team. Thus continuing, in my opinion, the legacy of the Athletics, even though they'll be in Sacramento. I mean, look at Montreal. Look at the Montreal Expos, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they are the Washington Nationals now, but here's the thing: there's been talk about bringing Montreal back a major league team. There's been talk about Tampa Bay, even though that's now pretty much off the table because I think they got a new stadium coming. But there was talk about Tampa Bay going there and being the Montreal Rays, but then reverting into or going and becoming the newly christened, resurrected Montreal Expos. And there's been talk of just giving them an MLB team, which they would christen as the Montreal Expos. So there's been talk. So there's been talk with that as well. There's been talk with that as well. Um, so yeah, I don't blame the group that helped bring the A's to Sacramento for the next few seasons. I don't blame them for filing, in my opinion, because I look at it being more truthful with them. Um, I don't blame them for doing that because I think they realize that not only is history on their side with the potential of getting an MLB expansion team, after this is all said and done, but they also know historically that when one team moves from one town, if not country, to another town and country, that they will potentially change their name and to reflect where they now reside. And I think they're ready for that. I really think they are, and that's why I tend to believe more about them filing the trademark for Sacramento A's, Sacramento Athletics, than the Oakland A's current management team, above anything else. But yeah, overall though, like I said, it's a um, bittersweet situation. The A's still will stay in California at least for the next several seasons outside of this one, and the reports are that they're going to celebrate their history in Oakland. The fans, the workers, the players, everybody involved, that helped make the Oakland A's who they are. They are going to take their time to celebrate them, on certain days, at certain events. Sacramento says they're going to do something similar, which is going to will they'll honor the A's, which will also honor the city and stuff. So yeah, it's not the best news for A's fans, but right now it's a bittersweet victory that they still remain here, and we'll just have to see what happens going forward. And again, in closing, I do think Sacramento is going to get an expansion team out of this. I really do. And I think the reason, like I said, that they filed for that trademark when it comes to Sacramento A's, Sacramento Athletics, them more so than the Oakland A's management team, is because I think they're ready. I think they're readying themselves for the possibility that when the A's do officially go to Vegas, the A's management team is going to change their name to something else, just like the Expos got changed to the Nationals when they went to Washington, and everything. And just like the Cleveland Browns, the original Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're preparing for that possibility. So anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this. Let me know how you feel about this whole ordeal. Who do you think is more to blame? Do you think it's the Oakland A's management team? Do you think it's the city of Oakland for not being able to keep them there? Do you think Sacramento will get an expansion team out of this? And do you think maybe them filing for Sacramento A's is their way of being precautionary should the A's when they go to Vegas change their names to something else. Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, and until then, I am out.